Hey guys, and welcome to some pretty breaking news. Now, last night we actually saw some pretty big news coming over here when it comes to PlayStation. Now, as you guys probably know, PlayStation has been trying to go and sell additional hardware and try to go and turn a profit pretty well. Now, they've been trying to go and sell like the PlayStation 5, like kind of their Pro controllers, the updated DualSense. They've had the PlayStation VR and VR2. They've had other outside things such as the PlayStation Portal, prior PlayStation like the PSP, the Vita, and all these other various sources. Like, they always try to go and kind of divvy around if they have a chance to. And sometimes they go well, and sometimes they go and absolutely fail. And right now, it seems like the PlayStation VR is about to go hit a really big turning point where they're actually stopping production. They're not making any more. Like, they're done making the PlayStation VR, at least as of this current moment. And it kind of seems like things are getting worse and worse and worse than people are expecting. Now, we kind of know the PlayStation VR has not been selling well, but this is almost unprecedented, and I really wasn't expecting it to happen as well. So I'm going to go talk about this, talk about the big Bloomberg article that just came out too as well, and I want to hear your thoughts on everything when it came to PlayStation VR. I think the high level for this is, why did you guys not go buy one? Or if you guys did go and buy one, do you regret it? Now, when it comes to PlayStation VR, I think a lot of folks have been kind of sketchy on it. I'm excited for it. I think it's good tech, but at the same time, it was very expensive. So we're going to go talk about this all throughout the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on. You know, the Samsung giveaway, as well as also their $100 no obligation needed sign up. That is linked down below. You know, the Twitter and Twitch if you guys would like to go and follow. And of course, I appreciate y'all for watching. Let's dive on into the video itself. So, like Jesus, if you guys have, this is kind of a big news. If you guys have not had a chance to go and see the PlayStation VR, we've kind of covered the news up here a little bit on the channel where it's not doing so good. The initial sales are very low, only in the hundreds of thousands, which in some cases isn't bad, but over time they kept on getting worse and worse and worse. And here's a good example of the PlayStation VR2 sales in comparison to the Meta Quest. But just in general, like, this is horrible. Basically, the Meta Quest at 100,000 and 30,000, 50,000, and 20,000 on their various sources. And then we have the PlayStation VR 2 that hit 3,000 and 2,000. So they basically sold, from Amazon numbers, only 5,000 total sales for the Amazon, on Amazon itself for the PlayStation VR. Now, there may have been okay sales on other various platforms, but at the end of the day, the PlayStation VR did not sell well. A lot of people thought it was too expensive, because it literally is more expensive than a PlayStation 5. You as well also have to have a reason to go and buy it, and there's no good games out at this point. We haven't really seen a lot of hype for PlayStation VR 2, and although there was a cool Horizon game that came out initially, the fact that it did not have initial PC support, people were not happy with that. As well, we also had some other various things like the old PlayStation VR did not carry over. A lot of folks were upset that the PlayStation VR 1 were not usable on the PlayStation 5, and as well, some of the games you also had to re-buy too. People were not happy with this. People were not vibing this, and I would understand why. You spent a lot of money on the PlayStation VR to kind of get yourself set up for a good, proper, console. Makes sense, sure, but you'd want to be able to go play on the PS5. And it did not happen. You want to have fun games to play. There has not been, in my opinion, a single game where I'm very excited for to want to go and play. It wasn't a good sale. It's also very expensive too as well. Like, it wasn't good, and all the numbers were not looking well. But basically, Bloomberg, Sony is now hitting pause on the PlayStation VR2 production as the unsold inventory is piling up. Now, this is ridiculous. This is basically like, say you had a PlayStation 5 and they're like, hey, we're not making any more PlayStation 5s. These things are not moving, because that's bad. Like, this just, no one's buying these. No one really is. And why would you? Like, I really don't know why you would. The technology is good. If they actually update it for PC as well, I think a lot of folks will go buy it once that goes live. But until then, there's no reason. Sony Group Corp has paused production of its PlayStation VR 2 headset until it clears a backlog of unsold units, according to people familiar with its plans, adding to doubts about the appeal of virtual reality gadgets. And it stinks because virtual reality has always been kind of niche, but I think it's a fun niche. But I don't think anyone ever did a full-on deep dive to make it fun, and I think in the future, if we would have, like 5 years ago, things would be a lot different now. Sales of the $550 wearable accessory to the PlayStation 5 have slowed progressively since its launch. And don't forget that what I showed you guys was literally December numbers, like holiday numbers, which you'd probably assume would go up higher as well for Christmas, whatever. Basically, it's progressively slowing since its launch, and stocks of the device are building up. And according to the people who asked not to be named, as of the information is not public, Sony has produced well over 2 million units of the product launch since February of last year, the people have said. Now, 2 million is also kind of on a mediocre number because we're kind of roughly at 50 million PlayStations. So it kind of seems like the install base is very, very low. And at the same time, these are only just being produced, not actually sold. So PlayStation VR2 shipments have declined every quarter, and it probably would keep on going over time since its debut, according to the IDC, which tracks deliveries to retailers rather than consumers. So that's like, hey, we're shipping to Amazon, Walmart, Target. Like, let's see what we get. The surplus of assembled devices is throughout Sony's supply chain, and people said still, IDC's Francisco Geromino sees a recovery for the product category in coming years with the help of Apple's Inc.'s entry. We forecast the VR market to grow on average 31% between 2023 and 2028. But at the same time, Sony is not selling their current PlayStation VR2. Maybe more people like VR with Apple, and they'll maybe check out alternate products, maybe get used to it. I don't know, but right now it's not good. Alongside Meta Platforms Incorporated, Sony has been one of the leading purveyors of virtual reality gear, but both have struggled to attract enough content and entertainment creators to make their platforms compelling. A similar problem stalks Apple's much pricier Vision Pro headset, as it's made its debut without tailored apps from key entertainment platforms such as Netflix and Alphabet's YouTube, which also makes sense. And I think my big issue, you guys can tell me, PlayStation VR never had like good support for a casual VR. Like, I don't think you were able to utilize it on PC. Most people have games ready on PC, so maybe they're trying to be a little bit more like cheap and try to resell the same games on PlayStation itself as their publisher, which I think is bad. Like, make money on the hardware, because you obviously didn't make money now because they're sitting in stockpiles. You wasted it. And as well, you need to have cool things like Netflix, like YouTube, like you want to have Crunchyroll and Funimation, which PlayStation owns, Sony owns, and have that integrated with your VR headset and make it a cool experience. Like, imagine literally watching like Crunchyroll in VR. Like, some people would actually maybe even buy VR just for that alone. Like, that'd be cool. And as well, you get to keep the subscription platform too as well. And this is rough because the idea is cool. Like, a lot of people think the PlayStation VR is very good for its price point, but it's only for PlayStation. If this was a pure PC headset, I probably would have bought it. Like, if I was into VR, I would have bought it. But it's not. They want to. I think they want to, but like right now, it's not. And what do you want to do? Like, go and rebuy games? Like, I'm sure a lot of people who had the first PlayStation VR either got like scratched and they don't want to buy the second one, which makes sense. Like, it's not even supported again. Why do you want to buy it? They're not going to support it. It was mediocre, not good games. You may have to rebuy games you already bought. Like, it's not fun. Or as well, like, if people already have VR, they may already be on, like, say, the Meta Quest or like the Index or other various VR headsets. And I think Sony just messed up. Like, Sony is just stockpiling stock, and this is bad. So Tokyo-based Sony last month announced it's shutting down its PlayStation London division, and maybe some of the side stuff also is a big thing, because literally, this was the company that was meant to make virtual reality games. PlayStation London's gone, and at the same time, they want to make virtual reality games, and this might even kind of be showing the end of the PlayStation VR, because if the big main studio that's meant to be making games to support this is shutting down, once again, why would I want to buy a PlayStation VR? You're literally telling me that the big main studio who is making the games are gone. And that's like the big selling point right now, because you can't really do it on PC and other various platforms. So why do I have any faith in this product? No one else is buying it. They're having their stock literally on shelves, and they're not moving because it's too costly and it's not really worth it. And like I said, the PlayStation London division is now gone. So why buy one? So which was focused on making virtual reality games. And that move was part of the wider set of layoffs that also affected in-house studios like Guerrilla Games, which was also working on that PlayStation VR2 game for Horizon, Call of the Mountain. So the high price of VR acts as the main hurdle. And I agree, it's more money than the PlayStation 5 itself, said McQueen analyst Yeja Zai. Currently, there are limited games to support VR devices. That too. So why do you want to buy a VR if their own company, PlayStation's not supporting it? And I kept on always saying PlayStation should have put a lot more effort, a lot more time, and maybe try to harbor the VR community, because it is there. It's niche, but it's there. But instead, they just kind of threw it out there, hoped that people would buy it, and they kind of just let it falter afterwards. It's like a very, very costly mistake. Also saying this is this will basically lead to a lack of motivation for players to purchase VR games. In hardware, it's also limited content outside of reason. The development cost for VR games is also high. So basically, VR games cost a lot of money. No one's really buying them, so you're not really making money. It's almost like a negative feedback loop, because you never supported the VR. So you never built and fostered the community for the VR. So this is all ongoing. You never had a chance to literally make money on the VR. And it's just really sad because I think the idea is cool. Now, they are still going to be making them long term, but the fact that any game company has to halt production for this is horrible to see. So we'll see what happens in the future. But either way, this is rough. If it comes and launches on PC, people may be able to pick it up, maybe lower price points. I don't know, but this is bad. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Check out the Samsung link down below. Hashtag ad if you guys are interested for the Samsung giveaway as well. Also the pre-sale bonus and the Twitter and Twitch room down below if you guys like.